so you get in for that dive potential further on, but we'll see whether it is going to be something that they're going to aim against. But here is champion select, ladies and gentlemen. VICI Gaming going to be on the blue side first up against Royal Never Give Up. Love it. Royal Never Give Up. Because they don't. They most certainly don't. They always manage to find a way back into the LPL spawn. Kindred going to be the first ban, and Rise, a lot of respect towards Easyhoon here as that one gets taken away. Of course, Long's played the champion as well. Decent flex pick, and a lot of these bans have been the flexible champions that have been taken away.
Yeah, it certainly has been. I love the Kindred ban. MLXG's already proven that he wants to get in your face. Kindred just facilitates that so much. If you ever get invaded by a Kindred with red buff at level 2, you have to burn Flash if she gets the zone down just because of how much damage she can put out. And wow, Quinn and Trundle also joining the bans relatively quickly.
Super focused ban phase here, spawners. Yeah, Quinn aimed at Looper there, of course, but Jahu can play it. Jahu's played a heck of a lot of different things there in the mid lane, notably Lucian. And of course, Trundle is going to be taken away from Long, and of course, Caveman there in the bottom lane at the same time. So see what the final bans are. But with these focused bans here,
Tahm Kench,
we're going to have
Mundo,
so many things. Exactly.
Soraka even. And that's just a null ban. They're happy with where they're at. Gangplank is still up, who is very good on this patch because of 40% cooldown reduction. This is honestly a wide open pick ban phase. By going such target bans in the likes of the Rise and the Quinn, Poppy is still available. They take the Lulu away. Alistair's still up as well. A lot available right now for VICI Gaming.
There are so many things. And Royal, of course, they get the 2 picks here. I mean, it's only one champion that VICI can now take away. Priority is going to be put once again on the Alistair, which makes a lot of sense, but Soraka Mundo can now be picked up together if they want. There are so many things. The Poppy, of course, is massive, but Lyssandra's there, Graves is there. Both of these junglers finding a lot of success, and Royal Never Give Up know exactly what they're doing. Lysandra straight away, and then MLXG is going to take that Graves. And Lysandra not only a pick away, but also going to be a pickup for either Looper or Xiaohu, depending on who wants to play it.
Yeah, Looper loves to play the mages in the top lane, so would not be surprised to see if he does go towards that. Gangplank is very strong. You know, Rengar is also up. Please don't give me another Skarner.
Well, Rek'Sai has been seeing a lot of success as well. That would make a lot of sense, but Misfortune's there. She was actually permabanned yesterday.
So the reason I like Rengar at the moment, it's just a hover, so I'll just touch on it quickly. Probably will be Rek'Sai. But RNG have already shown that they love to run these multiple AD carry comps.
Yep.
And Rengar turns those into 4v5s real quickly. He's just good at it.
Yep.
Rek'Sai, however, adds a lot of knockup potential. Couple that with an Alistair. Very good engage so far. Pretty good damage coming out of Endless. I actually like the way they set Endless up for success on this team. You know, play utility. Play something that can knock down turrets. Play something that just has AoE damage or can clean up a team fight. We'll get everything done for you. Just sit back, you know.
Just chill.
Farm up. Let us control the top half of the map. Misfortune 5.24. He hasn't been nerfed yet. Thunderlord's still oppressive.
Oh, yeah.
Just gives you a very good laning phase.
Not to mention, they have the Alistair there as well for so much peel. Try and get everything away from the Misfortune, get that bullet time really working. Whoosh is going to default back to the Callista by the looks of things. And I just want to talk about this Rek'Sai as well because, I mean, Rek'Sai, she just seems to be so stable in sort of any meta that we come across. And we saw Condi yesterday, 5-0 in the earlier stages of the game. She's still able to get around the map and get successful ganks very early on and change the tide. Swift as well, straight afterwards. Putting on a clinic against LGD. I don't think we want to talk about it because it feels like it should be censored. That series was so awful.
It was actually, you know, people are going to look at that and be like, what a one-sided series. I think that series highlighted the difficulties that LGD have currently in their confidence and how good QG are when they're ahead. I honestly don't think that series showed us anything new, apart from the fact that LGD still have work to do off the Rift. I'm not even interested in how they played on the Rift. It just looked like they weren't on the same page at all and that they didn't want to make any proactive plays. Defaulted back to comfort. To me, that just shows a team that isn't exactly happy with where they're at as a team at the moment. So they still need to build on that. But wow, props to QG for being able to close out in the way that they did.
But back to this. We do have the Gangplank locked in here. Looks like it's for long as we do have the Victor picked up for Easyhoon. Just chilling on those control mages there in the mid lane. And already there is so much zone control out of this team. Just insane. The Chaos Storm going down as well as the ultimate Cannon Barrage out of that Gangplank just means that It's just going to be so hard to get to this misfortune.
The great thing about this composition so far is Poppy is going to be trying to make a beeline for the misfortune. Gangplank has the ability with his ultimate to be able to peel well. So that's a support, Poppy. Not too surprised.
Okay.
So he can set up the team fight, With the Victor, they have a lot of AoE damage together. They also have great control with their barrels, so they can peel back, they can go forward. And Misfortune all of a sudden has the ability, because there's a triple threat comp, to be able to set up wherever she wants around the team fight. Across the other side of the rift, not surprised to see Poppy go towards that support position, because what they've done is they've said, Lysandra, we're expecting you to go mid or top. Yep. Poppy, you might be top lane. So we're going to pick 2 people that have good matchups against Lysandra, and then make you play that Poppy in the support position so there isn't that much threat towards our misfortune.
Oh, it's a good point, and it has worked out. The only worry that I'm seeing on the side of RNG is the fact that they have no reliable tank apart from Marta here on this Poppy if he's able to get himself ahead, but in the support position you don't get as much gold. Just a well-rounded comp from VICI on the other side.
What they do have is fantastic pick potential. If anyone enters Fog of War and Royal Never Give Up can control vision, Lysandra, LeBlanc, Graves, anything near a wall, that is terrific burst. And then they have that always present disengage force of the Poppy Hammer that as soon as you do it, you pick one person, you just smash everyone else away. If they can execute well, still a very good team comp.
Yeah, and if it is going to be one of these pylon comps that VICI are going for, will be very, very powerful having that ultimate there. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get onto the rift. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the rift for game number 1 of day 3 of the LPL. VICI taking on RNG. A lot of mind games going on in this draft, especially on the side of RNG, with Poppy going any which way, as well as Lysandra. But in the end, it is going to be the Poppy support in hands of Marta.
Oh, Long's gone with a Mana Crystal start. I haven't seen a Mana Crystal start
He wants to shoot a lot of things.
in a year, I'm going to say. Even Rise went away from it, went back towards the Doran's ring.
No.
So the cool thing about Gangplank, Grasp of the Undying, Bandit, means you don't even have to queue minions anymore, Atlas, to get that extra gold. You just queue champions. Get the 15 because it counts as a melee attack.
Yeah, that's
Get
true.
the Grasp of Undying proc there. Keeps you very healthy. See whether he's able to harass Lupa out of the lane.
He's just a pretty gross champion. We've seen him banned in basically every single game so far here in the LPL, and we're going to be able to see exactly why in the hands of Long potentially.
And this is another interesting thing, actually. The Gangplank Lung going towards the potion there, the refillable potion. See whether he upgrades that into Corrupting or whether he's just happy to sit on it and he's looking for quick recalls early in the game to utilize that. Because, of course, it does become gold efficient after you're about your 3rd back, so it's nice and good up there.
And, of course, Corrupting Potion's fantastic on Gangplank as well because, as you said, counts as an auto attack. You shoot people and they start bleeding to death at the same time. It's just not all that fun. He just makes so much money, Spawn.
Yeah,
he's a good pirate.
He is. He pillages very well.
He does.
You see, Endless and Caveman actually a little bit late to lane because they took 2 jungle camps. Only a small one picked up for Whoosh. And we'll see whether this Misfortune can do what we expect it to do. We expect it to be a very big lane bully on the current patch. Incredibly strong.
Oh, yeah, that Make It Rain really making things work. But you can see
Caveman,
they've already hit the level 2. Whoosh, exhausted straight away. That flash didn't take very long to be used. And already VICI commanding the respect in this lane.
Yeah, and you can see Caveman not done yet, wants to continue to get in their face. And we said that Endless and Caveman, they can kind of just be the facilitators in this team comp. They don't want to be. They want to be in their faces.
It's certainly happening. Already Xiaohu taking a lot of damage here in the mid lane as well, but it's going to be going back and forth, and we'll see how easy Hoon goes against this guy. And look, Xiaohu was a bit of a prodigy, but he's had up and down performances in the LPL.
Yeah, he certainly has, I always mention it. Getting soloed by Dade on Vladimir versus...
don't remind me.
Isn't a great calling point.
Dade did play that incredibly well, though, if we look back.
Of course he did. Dade's a legend.
He is.
As we see, maybe even some early jungle pressure from Dandy coming towards the bottom side of the map. Whoosh is also there, so not expecting too much to happen. But the bottom focus, that certainly is interesting.
It is. I mean, one thing I do want to talk about is being able to throw a Poppy into a team fight. It's a big deal. I mean, having that Fate's Call close the gap very effectively. Ooh, passive already down here in the mid lane for Xiaohu. And Dandy's making his way in as well. Does have to use the flash very quickly. Has to respect Dandy's ability to flash knock up.
Yeah, flash on Burrow still was available, so had to get the heck out of dodge there. As we see, Looper actually putting some work into Lung at the moment. He's going to have to burn the recall. Both potions already done. You can see trying to eat some oranges and BK.
Yeah, but Spawn, all of those combat stats on the Sapphire Crystal.
Yeah, no, definitely. That was a unique start. Let's go with that. It was an experimentation. I'm going to call it failed experiment so far.
Yep.
Maybe you got an extra couple of Qs in there. I hope so.
But it doesn't really matter. He does have that teleport available if he wants to get back into lane and comfortably sitting under his turret. More than fine. Dandy going to be taking away his blue buff now. MLXG not going to be getting into the enemy jungle this time around as he's just put his jungle on farm. He's taken every single camp so far.
I'm actually surprised that Dandy didn't give the first blue over to EasyHoon because EasyHoon's pushing up nice and aggressively. You know, they've already burnt Xiaohu's flash. You can see that Rek'Sai doesn't need it.
Oh.
Here we go.
Yep, he's done it already. The Prophet Spawn. Able to predict that, and EasyHoon just picks it up.
So that's really nice out of Dandy, actually. That's why they leave it till about level 4, because you want to have the pushing power of your E. So you could see that even if Dandy's first jungle clear started top half of the map because he knew MLXG was going to do that as well, just skipped the blue buff completely. Did 3 camps, got down to the red, made sure that he got the Rift Scuttler for himself. Goes back, gives it over to EasyHoon now, who has that shoving, 3 points in his E. And he's going to be able to bully around a flashless Xiaohu, who's going to have to just try and pick up as much CS as he can underneath that turret.
Yeah, he was actually considering going back as well, as he's decided instead to move towards the bottom side. Lots of pings down on him, though. He's been discovered. Now Dandy, that Sentinel, may spot him. But so far hasn't been able to make an impact just yet, apart from grabbing that flash in the mid lane. And his bottom lane is very scary. Whoosh almost has his flash back up, but they'll have the timer on that, and they're looking to try and get some pressure.
Yeah, they certainly are. Problem is Caveman can't really get in range right now. Go for the headbutt pole onto the Kalista, who's playing it very patiently. MLXG, in the meantime, he got both these buffs and just put the jungle on farm. He's heading bottom lane at level 5. Could be some fireworks.
Yeah, looks like he just wants to get some money from the wards. And a lot of vision has been gained. Pink ward down as well, just so that they can keep an eye on Dandy.
You know, credit to Whoosh and Mata as well after such an aggressive start with that lane. Still pretty even on gold. 42 to 44 CS, so doing a good job. Got to remember the build efficiency of Kalista's path did not change. She gets lifesteal if she goes towards that Blade of the Roaring King. Hurricane as well as Bork is just such a good 2-item power spike still, so expect Whoosh to be able to take over these mid-game team fights and then let Looper and Xiaohu continue to scale up and become those assassin threats that they need in the late game.
Yeah, and the scary part is then Endless if he makes it past that with the bullet time doing massive damage.
Yeah, so Endless is kind of like, Misfortune's one of those weird champions because Misfortune players will go something like Essence Reaver into Infinity Edge right now.
Yep.
Because your bullet time does crit and you want to get that big crit damage across the entirety of the bullet time, which means that she goes from being this great pokey duelist in lane to no attack speed items and actually very hard to duel AD carries one-on-one. And then as soon as you get your attack speed item on top of that, she turns into a great duelist again. But it's just because you itemize so heavily towards the team fights with Misfortune right now, with no attack speed, just because of how impactful the ultimate is. If anyone ever gets caught out in the jungle this game, Misfortune does absolute work.
Certainly does, and can now build the Swiftness boots for a whole lot of extra mobility at the same time. We've been seeing a little bit of that. It's because that item has become so incredibly efficient, only costing 500 gold. Xiaohu with a huge burst onto EasyHoon, even through that Q shield.
All right, let's go even deeper.
What has happened, Spawn?
So he's gone with a Sapphire Crystal start, and then picks up a Cull on his first pack. No Doran's needed. Cull, of course, an item that becomes incredibly gold efficient if you can get to 100 CS, but generally costs you about a kill on the way there, so works out not so much. But if Lung can pull this build off, that is maximum disrespect to Looper.
Well, Xiaohu is going to be able to land a bit of his combo, but EasyHoon just drops everything on top of him.
Yeah, and I actually like it when people play this way against LeBlanc. LeBlanc's underneath 50% health can never commit to their full combo because it puts you right in their face, and it means that from now on, if he ever goes in, Xiaohu needs to be very careful that there is no counter gank or no gravity field catches him back out. But here he goes again.
Yeah, he's going to get the Mimic Distortion. Doesn't land the chain, though, and in goes the Cannon Barrage. Does get back to Xiaohu, but takes a Prey Seeker for it. And VICI have a whole lot of members here in the mid lane. Was followed up nicely by RNG, but so far, everyone just answering each other's aggression.
Yeah, so let's give that one over to Xiao, who gets a flash out of Easy Hoon. That's now a sitting duck target, of course, very immobile. That's not a thing. But immobile mage. So we'll see whether he can make it work. And wow, endless.
Yeah, bullet times there. Whoosh actually takes a lot of his health bar as he has to wander out of that. No, nothing to martially poise to.
Poppy kind of looks like Bard.
Yeah, I know. It was confusing. At the very beginning, I thought it was Bard for a sec.
That is like, when you say that sentence out loud, does not make great sense. But Poppy looks a lot like Bard, guys. And Whoosh continually being bullied underneath his turret.
Yep, Magical Journey. No. Not going to be available. Marta utilizing... No. Oh, he gets his shield sat on by this fat caveman guy.
Actually really nice there for Endless. The turret counts as a separate target. So auto-attacker support once, auto-attack the turret, auto-attack the support again for that passive extra damage. And across the map, it looks like CS is quite even apart from this middle lane. But of course, you've got to remember, anytime Gangplank is even, he's ahead. Anytime with Gangplank with Cull is even, he's further ahead. So we'll see whether Long, after what was a pretty brave maneuver, picking those up as his first items, can make anything work.
Yeah, doesn't have his ultimate for the next little while, as he used that one in the mid lane. Lupa hasn't been able to capitalize on it just yet. He's gone back and he's picked up the Frost Fang, so going for that Frost Queen's claim. Definitely flavor of the month at the moment.
It's silly strong.
It is silly strong.
So not surprised to see people continuing to prioritize that. As long should be able to pick up some gold. Oh, look at this. Just lovely. I love watching Gangplank's.
I know. It's better than watching him in a team fight. Just watch him farm lanes. Hopefully he split pushes all game. Dandy going to start off this blue buff. We'll be going over to Easy Hoon as he's hanging out here as well. You see MLXG looking to try and make an impact, but so far both of these junglers have been pretty quiet.
Yeah, just looking to farm up. Both once again going for trackers. A little bit more of an aggressive build path out of MLXG. He's got on Warriors. It looks like it will be Cinderhog for Dandy yet again. And this just means that MLXG, if he goes Warriors, if he's committing to these aggressive AD carry junglers, he needs to make an impact on the map because Dandy will eventually just outscale, become much more useful in the team fights that will break out on Summoner's Rift. And last game that MLXG picked up Graves, he bullied Fire Lolly around the jungle.
He did.
This time around, Dandy has done a very good job of controlling vision, doing Dandy things across the map, and really no pressure has been put out by MLXG.
Well, Xiaohu's going to look for the chain. Does find it onto Easy Hoon there. Gravity Field goes down. Chaos Storm there as well. That's going to be the explosion. And MLXG picks up first blood. We mentioned the fact that he's been a little bit quieter, but does end up doing it in the end.
And the patience that went into that. They waited for the right wave. Xiaohu knew that he could get that chain because the flash was down. We mentioned that all of a sudden, Easy Hoon's sitting duck in that mid lane. MLXG knew he had the burst to take him out. Able to get in there, pick up first blood for his team. That will relieve a lot of the pressure. This is what we're talking about with Xiaohu. Very smart player, you know, controlling the minion wave well. Distorts looking like he's CSing and just nails him with the chain. From there, MLXG can come in, get that Thunderlord's proc and clean him up with the ultimate. Just so much burst damage.
Ridiculous burst damage. Caveman's in an odd spot. Does have to use the flash to get out. MLXG cops a Prey Seeker from Dandy as he gets slowed down by the Frost Queen's claim. Doubles on the side of RNG.
Both AD carries went down there. You can see Endless and Whoosh both in the death chamber. Looks like Caveman picked up a kill for himself on the other side of the map. Give that one across to Lupa, who teleported in.
Oh, Easy Hoon once again taking a bit of a burst from Xiaohu, but does have to be a little bit careful. Still a lot of burst potential out of this Victor, who has a null-magic mantle to help himself deal with a lot of this magic damage. Lupa's just transitioned to the bottom lane. He's like, all right, well, there's farm here, and my AD carry's dead. Let's just take all of this. But meanwhile, Lung's just hanging out in that top lane, just farming up a storm, and like you said, very even on farm on paper by the looks of things, but with a Cull hanging out, the fact that his passive gives him so much extra money, this Gangplank is really going to be doing some work.
So let's have a look how this one worked out. Caveman, pretty good initiation into the bullet time. And Endless flashed aggressively forward. Caveman actually picked that up with a stray auto. MLXG just putting out a lot of pressure along with Lupa. Supports get blown up. This is where we saw it from. Caveman steps on the shield, flashes over the wall to get out successfully.
And MLXG being pretty vocal.
And wow, they've done it to again.
Okay.
Caveman's dead.
Right.
piece me all that one together.
These the replay timings are just really unfortunate here, Spawn, as Xiaohu does pick himself up a kill, his first one of the game.
We'll just watch the game in replay.
Yeah, I think so.
So, good burst damage coming out of Xiaohu. You can see that double Frost Queens have been picked up. So, the catch potential, this is what we were speaking about. The ability to create dark areas around the map. That's why they've got the 2 sweepers. Use the Spooky Ghost, catch someone else out and absolutely smash them. Definitely is there. They will also pick up the first turret of the game. So, RNG picking up exactly where they left off from.
Yeah.
Looking very good.
And it seems like they've just pulled the trigger at this stage of the game as we see this one again.
MLXG going aggressive. Mata flashing the wall actually there. Caveman just gets caught completely out of position. Great collapse. And, you know, we keep talking about the pick potential of this comp. That is it. Exactly there. Great CC, great follow-up damage.
And Endless is going to cop it as well. And Xiaohu just seems to be all over the map at this stage. Dandy going to try and get some revenge as he tunnels through. He's going to find the flash, but immediate flash from Xiaohu. That was fantastic.
Yeah, and Lupa used his ghost to make sure that the re-engage wasn't going to be able to come there. It went up into the jungle, spotted out 2 members rotating down, slowed them both for an obnoxious amount. And it just means that nothing can be capitalized on here from the VICI lineup. Good news from them. Long still farming up. Has got his cull maxed out now. Picked up a Trinity Force at only 14 minutes into the game. Looking very good. But the gangplank needs to get rolling. Otherwise, this pick-style game will just continue to accelerate and RNG will push further ahead.
He does seem to be definitely farming minions very well, Spawn. You're right, but does need to start making his impact and not with just the ultimate from across the map. We just saw that just wasn't quite enough. Xiaohu, though, in the meantime, is going to head back to base and spend a whole heck of a lot of gold. We'll see whether he can take control, but it does feel like RNG are on a clock right now. They are ahead by 3 kills, but the gold is very, very close. MLXG may have found him. Flashes forward over the gravity field. Collateral damage is going to seal the deal, and MLXG still a powerhouse.
This is why we love watching MLXG play.
Oh, man, yeah.
You know, he spots out Easy, who knows he's low in mana, makes the play, takes the kill for himself, happy to burn summoner spells because he knows he can transition that. Oh, Marta versus Dandy, Battle of Ages.
Yeah, they're looking for it. Oh, Caveman, he's going to join him on the ride back home. The massive hammer delivers them.
Marta would have the biggest smirk on his face right now as RNG also pick up a dragon. So everything going in their favor. But you're right, because of the wave clear on VICI's side of the map, they do have that clock, you know.
Yeah.
They can continue to accelerate the pace of the game as Marta called out. Endless.
Yep, Endless is going to get knocked against the wall. It's the Blade of the Ruined King, and Whoosh is going to pick that one up. Nice delivery of a kill there for Marta, and Endless just wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, it certainly was. He thought he was safe, but had the 2 wards, but it wasn't enough to keep him safe. Wow. That's actually a lot of vision to get caught out. I'm like, how did he not know that was going to happen? Marta had just smacked 2 people away from that side of the map, and now Xiaohu wants in on the action. Spooky Ghost, not available, so he's going to go solo.
Yeah, he's going to grab it, distorts all the way in. He's going to find it. MLXG's there, though. Look at the burst from this Graves. It's silly. It does so much damage, Spawn.
And this is what we're talking about, the ability to play aggressive junglers. RNG certainly have accelerated the pace of the game. They're going to knock down another 2 turrets. VICI's reeling. They honestly have no response right now.
Yeah, and what do you do when the game, it looked like it was so calm, so collected, all the way up until about, 12 minutes in, and this last 4 minutes has just been destruction from RNG. As you're right, they are going to take this turret as well here in the mid lane.
Oh, Long also caught out. Has to burn the flash. So mid lane turret will survive just for now, but we talk about the wave clear, the ability to be able to just sit in one lane and just push out the waves. RNG, credit to them, have just never gone towards that siege-style comp. They've stayed spread out. They've made sure that they can get the catches, control vision in the enemy jungle, especially if you look down towards the bottom side of the map. That trio of wards that we talk about, when you take the bottom turret and leave the mid one up, there is a tendency to cheat through the jungle. When you ward this way, it means that anyone that cheats, especially with the double Spooky Ghosts, just cannot get out of that area quick enough, and they'll be able to generate the picks that we've seen out of Marta. So really like the way that RNG are playing. This was a team that, on paper, is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
All 10 players can play the game. It's how they fit together and how their strategy comes together. Right now, in the 3 games that we've seen, they look really good.
Really, really good. And despite Easy having a decent laning phase early on, it was just MLXG there in the right time, and Xiaohu being so patient in his play means that even these power players that they come up against seem to be dealt with.
See, Easy Hooney's trying to laser in the direction of where the distortion's coming from, hoping to hit the target on the way back as well. That is good play. He has kept up in farm even though he's died 3 times, but The snowball has started to roll. Over the other side, Long. He's got himself a pickaxe. Maybe going towards something like a Maw of Malmortius.
No, doesn't
build out of that anymore.
Yeah.
So, no idea.
Yeah, neither do I. Well, it's of course a component of the old Infinity Edge, which he does like building, but it's an odd place to start and then grab yourself a longsword. I'm perplexed as well, Spawn. We'll see what happens. This dramatic story that is the build path of Lung this game.
Well, he's got CDR boots, which means that he's not going towards Infinity Edge.
Essence
Reaver. Sorry. So Trinity Force Essence Reaver is 40% cooldown reduction, or you can go with this. Ooh,
yeah,
nice
Looper it takes a lot of damage there. Just gets slowed down, but eats an orange. Looper does have to be a bit careful, though, because this is a gangplank that's
Long had
started to
ultimate
roll.
available. Looper has his as well, but probably could have burnt that for him. Instead, pops a barrel for his passive. He's going to knock down the first turret of the game for VICI.
Yeah, grabs it in the top lane. Looper is going to head back. Has finished his Rod of Ages, but that's still scaling up. Finished it at about 18 minutes, which is not the best time, but does have the Frost Queen's claim there. Jiahu's going to take the mid lane turret eventually. Things falling all across the board, but still, 4,000 gold. VICI not out of it yet. Still waiting, still trying to get to that point where that team fight's going to work when that spread out pick style of RNG isn't going to be as strong. Endless going to get caught by the chain. Stunned down, but Jiahu knows that Pulverize is dangerous. Yeah.
He's going to go for it still.
Oh, heads in there, flashes forward, picks up the kill. All too easy there from Jiahu.
And no, that's lazy from Endless. Why would you recall in the middle of a lane when you know that there is a LeBlanc there with both summoner spells available? That's honestly really sloppy play out of the VICI Gaming lineup. This is not what we're used to seeing out of a very controlled team. And another face check.
Yeah, EasyHoon's going to make his way in as well. The chain's going to land. Nice Chaos Storm, but MLXG says, well, I'll take that one. Don't worry about it, Jiahu. You just chill out and lose most of your health bar, and I'll pick up the dividends.
And this is what we said, the tendency to cheat through the bottom half of the map. I don't know why teams do it. With base gates as well, it's very easy to navigate quickly without walking through that fog of war. They get 2 picks. Extend their lead some more, and Woosh even gets half the bottom. Wow.
Oh, Caveman, you've done it exactly as... Have you been listening to Spawn? But MLXG is going to get knocked back into the team. This could all be a bait as he's trying to kite around. Does eventually fall as the Gangplank is going to pick that one up. Woosh now going to deal with these Stone Brothers on the bottom side, but it looked like it was another mistake, but Caveman turning it around.
The only reason that worked was because Dandy zoned 2 people away. Woosh and Marta could not get to that fight. Otherwise, it would have been a 3v3. So Caveman able to set something up for his team. They do get a kill on MLXG, who 4-1 and 2 would be very happy with how the game is working out so far. But once again, the pressure unrelenting. Looper takes half the top turret's health. Map shrinking right now for VICI. They need to pick the places that they can get their farm, and now Baron becomes a real threat because of the pick potential of the RNG comp.
Yep, Spooky Ghost go out one more time here in the mid lane, and talking about item builds, we do have the 2-item power spike completed now for Woosh, as that Hurricane has been completed, as well as that Blade of the Ruined King. See what he decides to go off to as his next item. But very much ready to fight. The Equinox completed here for Marta as well. Making sure that he's got as much room in that inventory as possible to pick up more items. And a lot is on Marta here because he's going to be the sort of sole tanky member of the team. The rest of them able to dance around these fights very, very well, but Marta's sort of the only one that's going to be sitting there trying to purely zone, grab all of that tanky statistics.
And on the other half of the map, so much pressure now on Long to be able to step up, as Marta might have been caught.
Yeah, Endless is making his way around as well. Make It Rain goes down. There's Fate's Call. It was always safe. So they're going to turn things around. MLXG is going to grab the first dragon of the game, second dragon, sorry, of the game for RNG. Took that sneaky one before.
And look at the confidence out of Woosh and Marta with Jiahu in support. Happy to continue to push up. Spooky Ghost one more time. Caveman catches both of them. No, Endless hits one. You can see, well, actually wants blood.
Yeah, another smoke screen goes down, and they own the bottom side of this map. RNG, they just say that, okay, well, this is where we want to focus things. They have got some vision up the top side as well, but it's just Long farming out these
Teleport
minions.
coming in.
Yeah, Looper looking for it. Has prepared himself a barrel or two. Marta takes a lot of damage. That's the ultimate out as well, but Long does have to use the flash in order to try and create some distance. It's not going to be enough, as there's the ultimate, and Woosh is going to grab himself that kill. May not be finished just yet as Marta's hanging out. Does manage to bonk Caveman into the wall as Woosh trying to do some work. Bullet time comes in. Headbutts out of it, though, as the Blade of the Ruined King's there. Woosh is still alive, dancing around the fight. MLXG going to finish off the AD carry and the mid laner. This Graves is so huge. Collateral damage melts everyone. And that's another one for Endless as well. I mean, for Woosh as well. RNG just steamroll another fight.
So they get the pick as we're about to see it again. You can see that Marta actually failed his ultimate and a great bullet time, but it's the back end of the fight where MLXG's target selection knows Chaos Storm's down. So all of a sudden, Victor not a threat. Take out the Misfortune, then take out the Victor, move on to the rest of the team. Honestly, this guy is phenomenal. He's had a terrific breakout season. We had heard good things in the offseason. Now we're seeing them. 7-1-3 on Graves. And if you have to start banning double jungles against these guys, Kindred and Graves, that's going to be huge.
It is. Baron has fallen down as well, ladies and gentlemen, as RNG did pick that one up straight after that ace, which, of course, you're going to do, because you pick up every single member of the enemy team. You're going to do that. Caveman's going to go aggressive onto Xiao, who just does not care and just destroys him. And it's looking like desperation in their plays out of VICI at the moment. Cheeky Q as Xiaohu's just clearing out this minion wave, and just looks so similar to Doinby last night. Xiaohu's just having a laugh on the Rift.
And all of a sudden, Lung must group up because AP does not clear out these minions very good at all. Need the barrels from Gangplank. That means that he's splitting farm with Easy Who, not what they want. And the aggression continues.
Oh, collateral damage over a few members as well. Does have to use the cannon barrage in order to clear this minion wave. And that cannon is still doing some work there in the back line. Another wave is going to be heading forward, and it's going to be a longer cooldown on the cannon barrage. They're not going to be able to do that again.
Certainly aren't. A lot used on the side of RNG to try and secure themselves that turret, so they might even back away. No point risking it. Still bullet time. Caveman's ultimate's available as well. Xiaohu flirting with danger here.
Yeah, gets headbutt pulverized. You do have Marta in the front line, but Xiaohu manages to distort his way out. That's a bonk, and we can have the jungler leaving this fight. But Looper, he's going to fall. That is a decent bullet time. Oh my goodness, they turn it. VICI picking up 3 kills already. MLXG and Whoosh have to dance away. MLXG's got a lot of damage, but not a lot of survivability as now Whoosh, caught with his pants down, does have to run. We'll see whether he's going to be able to, but VICI turning a fantastic fight. Lung's just going to teleport behind him, and that's going to be the completed ace. And a bit of a throw there, you have to say, from RNG.
Yeah, ace for only Caveman. And that's the RNG that I was expecting to see a little bit more of, Atlas, if I'm like MLXG flashing into 3 people, immediately dying. Xiaohu distorting over the wall, immediate knock up out of Dandy. He dies as well. Just, you know, a little bit carried away.
Yeah, maybe they need to calm down a little bit. The rest of the game was definitely going in their favor, but they do have to be careful. We mentioned the clock before. Of course, it's a little bit less relevant now because RNG very, very far ahead. But at this stage, after a fight like that, VICI could very well rally around this.
Well, they still have great wave clear on VICI's lineup. There's no Baron on the map right now, so nothing to really bait them out of the base for. You know, they can continue to scale up. 1 Infinity Edge finished on Gangplank. I'm sure we'll see a couple more before the game is out. So, whilst they're very far ahead, right, RNG, there are still some win conditions for VICI, and they need to respect that. And just throwing 2 members, your LeBlanc and your Graves into the middle of 3 people, not the best idea. And you saw that it came back and bit them a little bit. If we allowed tactical timeouts, I would nearly say that's a tactical timeout because it's like, all right, guys, deep breath. Let's go back to what we were doing that was making it work, and that is the pick game, not the 5v5 team fight.
Yeah, let's wipe our eyes, get the red out of there that RNG obviously had stuck in. And VICI, I mean, they're doing a decent job trying to slow it down as much as possible. They haven't lost any inhibitor turrets yet. The game still well and truly available to them, but it's looking more and more dire as things go. After a fight like that, we'll see whether they can pick anything up. But, of course, minion waves will push forward. There's not going to be all that much. They might be able to grab a turret or 2 maybe, but without a Baron on the map, without a big way of turning things around, you have to think that they're going to need a few more fights to get themselves back into this one. Yeah,
well, they need to be able to draw them out of the base because this, a 5v5 team fight, as we see, Looper goes in first. He gets completely destroyed because he doesn't ult himself. He ults Easy Who and there's no follow-up damage. Then Xiaohu goes over the wall. Dandy, immediate knock-up. He dies. And then you're like, all right, cool, they can disengage. Like, they've picked up 1 kill for themselves. MLXG has different ideas. He flashes forward.
To try and kill Long.
He dies, and then all of a sudden the Great Escape starts. It wasn't that great because Whoosh fails it miserably. Goes over the wall here, good teleport, but runs straight into the arms of Easy Hoon. So, you know, that was just really poor execution and communication coming out of the RNG lineup. They can't afford to do that too many more times.
They most certainly can't. They may have another, 1 in them because they are fairly far ahead, but things are going to get harder and harder as the game progresses. And you can see Long, I mean, he hasn't been stopped farming. He may not have been picking up all of the kills across the map or anything like that, but this is a Gangplank that's still going to be just getting more and more huge, more and more difficult to deal with.
And Gangplank Victor, they're very respected, not just because of their consistent damage, they have burst damage. They have zone control. And when you're playing these pick-style comps, Gangplank, if you don't execute well, can just place that ultimate behind you. All of a sudden, you have no choice but to have those 5v5 team fights. Victor able to control the area in front of you very well. Rek'Sai there as well with all the knock-up and CC. There's still a very good 5v5 team fight on the side of VICI. So RNG need to respect that fact, need to go back, set up some good vision, start sweeping it away, use the double Twin Shadows, not Twin Shadows, Frost Queen's Claims.
Oh, I much prefer the idea of the Twin Shadows, though. Rip that item.
And just get back to what was working.
Yeah, which was being everywhere, warding very, very effectively as well. I mean, Marta's presence is always noticed on a team, of course, because vision just seems to come out of every portion of the map. And they have been doing so fantastically. But to get caught in that kind of choke point when there's so much, like you said, zone control, it's just not exactly the best idea. And you have to feel that it's probably a little bit of overconfidence, not looking at MLXG flashing forward into 5 people in order to not do any damage.
Yeah, so we'll see whether they are able to make that adjustment. Of course, they still are very far ahead. And if we look at how they got there, the way they accelerated the game at about the 12 to 15 minute mark.
Yeah.
12, everything was even. 17 minutes, it was like 2 kills to 9. They just picked up so much off a turret dive in the bottom lane. The willingness to pull the trigger. This is what we said about VICI. They got a lead and then they accelerated the game after that. How do they deal with accelerated games in general? Because last split, it wasn't good, especially with Dandy in the top lane. Looked like they lost touch with exactly how they wanted to play the early game. And if they got through the early game into the mid and into the late, they would incrementally build leads. It's just that if you accelerated the game on them or you're able to win that one team fight, would swing back in the opposition's favor very heavily. This time around, it's Dandy and VICI actually winning that one team fight and trying to get the game back in their favor. So we'll see now that they've done that with EasyHoon, with Long on their team, if they can close out this late game.
Yeah, Danny on your screen right now, still looking, relatively serene. More than happy to get back onto the Rift and get things going on because that was a team fight that definitely worked out. He's got something to prove here moving back into the jungle. I mean, it was a whole split and he was hanging out in the top lane. Of course, both of these teams have
Korean junglers that think they're top laners.
That are top laners, yeah, exactly. So we'll see whether they're going to be able to make an impact and definitely in their original roles as well. But we are going to be back into the game, ladies and gentlemen. Endless is going to be able to get himself a red buff. That's a big deal. As the rest of RNG looking to try and respawn and get their heads back into the game. Because, guys, that was a bit silly.
Went for a little bit more of an auto-attack build. We said that Infinity Edge tends to be the second pickup for the Misfortune, but not really looking for that. As we can see people farming and minions not dying.
Yeah, Rapid Fire Cannon going to be the second option here for Endless, like you said. So the bullet time not going to be hitting for as much, but he's going to have a fair bit more crit there and a lot of cooldown reduction. And not going for Swifty Boots. That's going to be Berserker's Greaves as well, so a lot of attack speed.
Yeah, so going for that auto-attack base build, recognizes the fact that if he goes into bullet time too early, he is going to be blown up by one of these AP assassins, so needs to be able to auto-attack and control team fights that way.
Yeah, or AD assassins, as MLXG is putting him out to be. Yahoo, though, going to move back towards the mid lane. Does have himself a Rabadon's Death Cap as well as those Lucidity Boots and a Luden's Echo. It's all damage at the moment for Yahoo. Not even going for anything like a Sonya's Hourglass, which could be pretty handy. Doesn't want that. Just wants damage.
So the problem with going for something like a Sonya's Hourglass, even the Hex Shrinker on Whoosh right now, is it slows the pace of your overall build, which can be dangerous because we've already recognized that VICI Gaming's late game is much better than what RNG can hope to ever put together. So if you ever go for a defensive option, if you don't go for that raw damage, and they can't blow up their targets, the game swings very quickly back into VICI's favor. And you can see that they understand that they need to be able to control this Baron area. Still about 2.5 minutes until it is up. So want to get it there nice and early and be able to set up for what will be another pick, hopefully.
Yeah, one thing I do want to talk about is VICI managing to pick up a little bit of extra vision, especially on that bottom side. Managing to claw their way back out. As Dandy and Caveman are just going to clear out another pink ward. And the little Raptor Brush. So RNG is still playing very far forward, but at the moment, Marta sitting on a ward. And they're going to take away these tunnels, and VICI moving around the map quite well, not going to get picked off.
But Lupa sitting in the bottom lane, teleport available, no teleport on Long to be able to answer it. He's going to have to burn the ultimate probably to save the turret, or just let it go down. So, once again, RNG get a small advantage over the other side of the map.
Yeah, it's still picking up more. 6,000 gold is the lead, so has been brought back just a little bit by VICI with that last team fight. You can see Long more than capable to pick up these minions.
And look at that game plank. 2, 1, and 3 is up in gold just because of how ridiculous that passive is. He's down 2 turrets.
Yeah, the global gold is the big deal here. 2 turrets and a Baron. Still ahead by 500. That's an extra kill. And a cull.
And going for another Infinity Edge.
Yeah. Well, there's 6% stats from the Dragon. Going to be pretty useful here for VICI at this stage of the game. Half an hour in. It's going to be great and going to slow down any potential 5th Dragon that RNG could have hoped for there with their 3rd one just going by the wayside. Whoosh, though, he's just aiming for these standing gold options in the turrets on the outside of the map.
And I like the fact that RNG abandoned Dragon. You know, they're not being stubborn about it. They recognize that the game went for another 18 minutes, which is what they would have needed to get the 5th buff.
Yeah.
That it just was probably going to not be in their favor anyway because of the scaling on the side of VICI. So instead they pick up a gold structure across the map in trade for it. Very worthwhile for the tempo of the game that they're looking to play. Once again, it's back out to about an 8,000 gold lead. It's shrunk to about 5.
Exactly. And
so they've gained a gold lead out of absolutely nothing for just 1 Dragon. And now they can set up around this Baron. As we said, it's only a minute away. And because of the fact that they were picking up these turrets with the teleport advantage, there is 0 vision control on the top half of the map for VICI Gaming.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of items that are very important that have been completed here for RNG as the Zhonya's Hourglass comes in for Looper. He's got himself another needlessly large rod. Could be going towards that Rabadon's, but Bloodthirster is really great as well for Whoosh. He's going to have the double lifesteal. Be a little bit more difficult to kill as he dances around these team fights.
Yeah, that's important. That means that Long probably cannot one-shot him at this stage of the game. Also has a Hex Drinker to help him out against the Hoon, but Dandy wants him.
Yeah, he's going to get the knock up there as he tries to dance. Yeah, uses the flash, but Caveman's going to make
Everyone
his way as well.
Everyone is on their way.
Teleport's coming down as well, but they're not going to make it in time as Whoosh does fall down. Teleport actually going to be cancelled here from Looper as he stays in the bottom lane, and that is a big deal because he's very far away from Baron, which is going to be spawning in another 25 seconds.
Yeah, and Long also cancelled his. Let's take another look at it. Whoosh should have flashed there. You can't afford to be knocked up because instead he gets caught in the slow. Caveman on his way up there with the Moby boots. Also heads into some brush. You know, very good collapse out of VICI. And Xiaohu, gets out.
Yeah, he's going to be able to grab the turret there as well. Dandy not going to be able to flash on top of him. Oh, he's going to. Actually didn't use it against Whoosh. Xiaohu has to use his to get out. His clone moving away as well, once again.
So, makes a great escape. That's huge. With 1 member down, RNG actually able to grab a base turret. VICI now want the Baron, however. They know that they've sent 1 member back. 1 member is dead. That's a 3 versus 5. Expect them to start it up straight away.
Yeah, Whoosh is going to be up in another 2 seconds, though. They have to be very quick on this Baron. They have a lot of damage. Marta hanging around. Looper's going to make his way in as well. Ultimate at the ready.
So, probably not going to be there in time to contest the Baron, but can they get the... Oh, Marta missed his ultimate as well. This is big.
MLXG's going to steal it straight away. Gets exhausted. Happy to sacrifice himself, though, but Easy Hoon's dead. Everyone's now in the pit. Xiaohu just hanging around over the top. RNG going to turn this one immediately. That steal was ludicrous. And they grab the triple kill for Xiaohu. That's the ace, and that has got to be the game.
Yeah, it certainly will be. VICI Gaming just committed to a Baron that they probably didn't have to take. They'd slowed down the pace a little bit. Instead, they go for the greedy pay the ultimate price, because RNG, they're going to run away with this one.
Yeah, they're going to pick up this inhibitor and just follow this stream of minions towards the Nexus turrets. RNG 3-0 thus far in the LPL, taking VICI Gaming down now after taking down EDG. This is a team that doesn't want to be underestimated, Spawn.
They certainly do not want to be. They pick